I would probably I'd have Jaden 3, Bo 4, and that's not because I think Bo's bad.
That's tough.
And that's not because I think Bo's bad. I just think that Jaden's really good still.
I think he's good, but I think we also have enough evidence to say that maybe that championship run was a little fluky. And maybe fluky's not the right word, but I do think if you play that
game,
fortunate, that's the right word.
This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not.
Welcome to the Warner Brothas Podcast. My name is Keenan, joined by my brother Kyle, and only joined by my brother Kyle. Timmy, Brandon, busy, but pod must go on, obviously. Back to the original duo guy. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm great. I feel like I'm still recovering from the NFL weekend that we had. I'm great. And then it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. And then it's Christmas on Thursday. And then we got New Year's.
Does it feel like Christmas to you?
You know what? Does it? I don't think it usually does up until Christmas Eve day, honestly. And I would say I feel a little more in the Christmas spirit on December 23rd than I usually am on December 23rd.
Good. Good. Okay.
And maybe it's because we have snow this year, and in years past we haven't had snow here, so maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I am still wrapping my head around how quick this year's gone by. I don't think I've ever had a faster year in my life, and that's.
No, this year does feel fast. Like it feels like it was yesterday I graduated from college and we were down there in Florida in March, but it also feels as if it happened like 3 years ago. It's like it's in a weird way.
You know what's weird, Keenan? It's funny you say that. I've said the exact same thing about the same event, about your graduation specifically, but no other event this year feels that way. Like your graduation feels both forever ago and like you said, like yesterday, but my birthday in January. Feels like it was yesterday. Like the Super Bowl feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And then March, that's when we went. I went to Miami in April. Miami feels like yesterday. For whatever reason, however you phrase it, your graduation can either feel 3 years ago or 3 days ago. I don't know what it is, but I've said the same thing to other people this year.
I don't know. It feels like I've been graduated from college for a long period of time, but it also feels like I just walked across the stage to get my diploma. It's a weird thing, but you're right in the sense of the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl doesn't feel like it was almost 10 months away. But we feel like we're ready for another. Like it just doesn't feel 10 months away for some reason to me. It just feels like it was closer in time. I don't know.
You know what I think it was?
It's been weird.
You know what I think it was with your trip is it went by very quick. We were only there. I think I got in that Wednesday and left Saturday, but I left Saturday morning and I got in Wednesday night. So I was really only there for 2 days, and there was a lot going on between your graduation. We had family there, like. I think that's why. It's because it was almost like a fever dream. It was like, all right, we're in Orlando for Keenan's graduation, but we're also out of Orlando to go back home pretty quickly. And that was all of us. So I think that's why. I think maybe if we were there for 5 days and really got to enjoy Orlando, then maybe we feel differently about it. But I think it
was almost transactional rather than like, and not that I didn't have a great time. I had a great time, good seeing everybody, but like it was there. Then you guys were gone. We stayed longer because Danny and I stayed longer, but like other than that, like everyone else left. So it just felt weird. But yeah, you have some NFL, NBA stuff. I mean, we go mostly NFL this time of the year, but
got a little more time. It's not necessarily NFL, NBA. Here, let's start here. Let's first review week 16 of the NFL. We're going into week 17. And then of course we ended week 18.
Yeah.
Let me say this. If you heard the end of the pod or if you watched the end of the pod, I said some very, some would say insensitive because I used the word suicide. I threatened to kill myself if I could not watch the primetime matchups. And let me give you this, Keenan. I was able to watch Eagles Commanders. I was able to watch Bears Packers. What a wild finish that was. The game of the year, though. Rams Seahawks. I've heard it was game of the year potential. The only thing I really caught of that was the win in overtime. I did not get to see the controversial fumble, not fumble, whatever it was. I did not get to see Like, I'm at dinner looking at my phone, and I see that the Seahawks, I think, are down 13 with about 8 minutes to go.
They were down 30-14.
So they're down 16. I see they cut it in half to 30-22.
Yes.
Then I see not long after that, they tie it up. And then again, I think I got back to my hotel at the end of regulation. Like, I saw the last play of regulation, and then I somehow, again, I missed the fumble play. I don't know how I missed it. I greatly regret missing that game. I got to see the insanity that happened on Sunday, specifically with the Steelers and Lions. Then, of course, the Pats and Ravens game. But Steelers Lions is what's going to stick out to me the most from week 16, not named Rams Seahawks. But tell me, fill me in on Rams Seahawks, because I haven't even really heard content on it. I haven't really listened to podcasts about it, because I was listening on Sunday to Sunday previews more than I was Thursday reviews. So fill me in.
What a game. So Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua looked great. Obviously, Matt Stafford was throwing the ball all over the lot. I think he ended with over 400 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, or 457, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Puka had 225 of those yards and 2 touchdowns. Insane. So Puka can do whatever he wants to. He is.
I did see Puka's second touchdown.
Yeah, I was while watching the game, I was like, it was weird. Like, my mindset was like, is he the best receiver in the league? I want to say no, but like, is he the best football player in the league? I want to say yes. It was like a weird, I got this, because like, to me, it's almost like he's more than just a wide receiver. Like, when I think Justin Jefferson, not that Justin Jefferson's not like a real football player, he clearly is, but like, just with him, it's such route running, precision, great hands, and just like all receiver traits. And when it's Puka, he can do everything, obviously, but it's just ball in his hands, aggressive, and like all of this. So it's like, is he the best receiver? No. Is he the best football player? Yes. Like, it was like a kind of weird thing in my head, or at least offensive football player. Like, that was kind of what was going through my head watching him play on Thursday. And then shout out Sam Darnold. Had a couple bad picks, one in the red zone. Wasn't playing good at all, but you get sometimes, like Caleb needed on Saturday. Sometimes you get a little reprieve and you get like a second chance. And within that second chance, Sam Darnold took the opportunity and he ran with it. I mean, Shaheed, obviously, punt and return touchdown. They get to 2-point conversion. They get down there. He finds a wide open tight end, ties it up. 2-point conversion, basically what happened. Kyle, I don't know if you saw the play, I'm assuming.
I've seen it. I haven't, break down what happened exactly.
Okay, so essentially he went to throw a screen pass. He went to go throw a pass to the outside. It hit off a guy's helmet, and because it hit off a guy's helmet and defensive helmet, it hit off a defensive helmet, but it was a lateral pass, so technically it was like a fumble. And when Zach Charbonnet put his hand on the ball in the end zone instantaneously, like he just picked it up, that was technically a recovery. And it was a 2-point conversion because he caught it in the end zone. Even though you can't advance on a fumble except for on a 2-point conversion. It makes no sense. The rule will probably change. So it's just some weird coincidence that the fact the ball went backwards, went into the end zone. Zach Charbonnet picked it up, clear recovery in the end zone in the allotted time. So he got the 2-point conversion. I was like, wait, what?
Interesting.
What just happened?
Was this pass, because it was a screen, was it parallel or was it backwards?
It was kind of I would say it was parallel to maybe half a yard back. It was just because he was throwing it just there. And just
so my thing is, if it's parallel or even forward and it deflects, how is that a fumble? If it's clearly backwards to me, then sure.
If it's forward, it's not, but side or sideways lateral, actual side is actually still a fumble, technically. Sideways and backwards is. So kind of was in that realm. It was a really weird play. You'd have to just kind of watch it again to see the exact schematics of exactly how it happened. But overall, Sam Darnold made the touchdown pass, completed the 2-point the first 2-point conversion. The second one was kind of weird, and then let him down. Big touchdown drive. Jackson Smith and Jigba got involved. It was big plays from Sam Darnold. He got the 2-point conversion. They went for the win because a loss or a tie is the same as a loss to them in that aspect. Good for them. It was good for them. Good for Sam Darnold. Got the win. That's all you can ask for. So it was a really fun, good game.
And
we had a lot.
And the Rams could fall all the way to the 5.
Windows. Yes, that's the unfortunate thing about being really good is they fall to the 5, and now you've got the 49ers. They went out, they're the 1 seed. The Bears, if they went out, I think they're the 1 seed. Yes, the Bears, if they went out, they're the 1 seed. The Seahawks went out, they're the 1 seed because all 3 of the teams like play each other. So like all 3 of them. So like for the Rams to be the 1 seed, the Bears, Seahawks, and 49ers all have to lose once and they have to win out. But the Bears play the Seahawks, or the Bears play the 49ers. The Seahawks play the 49ers as well. So like it's like a weird. Like it was a weird, just like this team has to beat this team, but then lose to this team. Like, could it happen? Sure, for the Rams too, but most likely now that loss up 30-14 goes from everything going through SoFi to now you're going to be on the road at most likely at the NFC South team, which is fine. But then a year afterwards, you're most likely you could be on the road again if you're going to Philly, if you're going to Seattle, if you're going to wherever you're going. So like it's just now you're most likely going to be on the road rather than being at home. So important loss, especially too in an older team, an older guy, Devontae Adams, older too, could have got that bye, get a week of rest. Now you got to go on the road. Can they still get to a Super Bowl? Of course. Are they still one of the best teams in the league? Of course. But it's just it's a tough loss. And now you've got Seattle, who could be the 1 seed. Really interested to see what happens.
I've got a lot of thoughts. I do want to go back to what you said about Puka, because I think me and you are very different when it comes to, and we've seen this with your QB rankings and tiers. Mm-hmm. I'm very much like, yes, it is like who you'd want for a game, but to me, it's no question Puka is the best receiver in the league. I know you say Justin Jefferson, and I get it, because when he's got a quarterback, when everything's clicking, like, yeah, I mean, he's as complete as a receiver as there is. But for the 2025 season,
yeah, you're more year by year basis than me sometimes, and that like that's fair and like that's understandable.
I think football more than basketball and more than anything. Like with basketball, you can have a 4-year stretch where everything looks the same. Like there was a stretch from the mid 2000s or the mid to late 2000s to the early 2010s where it was like, without question, your top 6, whatever order you want to rank them, but your top 6 is LeBron, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard, and Chris Paul. However you want to rank them, you rank them.
And then Tim Duncan was in there as well, if you're talking about. Yeah,
sure, yeah. Timmy was on the downside. He was more like.
Yeah, no, I know what you're. I know what you're saying. Though,
your core 6 was that 6 in some order, and however you want to rank them.
Your top 10, even in the league right now, like you may have another guy come in and out of it, but like Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Luka has been in your guys' top 5 to 6 for the last 4 years. That's really Shea's gotten there, but like it's really been the last 3-4 years. Like those are your guys, and then it's like, oh, is Steph here, or is it? Like you just kind of like will cycle through a couple others, but the main guys are the main guys. And I get you in the NFL because last year you'd say Jamar Chase, 2 years ago you'd say Justin Jefferson. This year Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua would be the 2 best guys in the league this year for sure. Like I'm not arguing that they're not the best in the league this year. I just it's always hard for me to be like, yeah, but you're right. Football, because it's such a smaller sample size.
And I think when I used to watch ESPN, I would think that some people would like get way too short a memory with it. There's some people who go overboard and it's like, all right, we're not even ranking. This wouldn't happen. People would still have Chase and Jefferson in their top 5, but there would be people who it would seem like wouldn't. And they would, very much go year to year. And it's like, all right, I think that happens amongst football fans quite a bit where like you get someone who has 2 or 3 really good years. Maybe he gets injured on that 4th year or has a down year. And people just like completely want to count him out. We've seen this with Jonathan Taylor, actually.
Yeah, like I don't want Jaden Daniels now to be like, oh, is he even top 15 at this point just because he got injured this year?
I feel like we're going to get a lot of that.
But we're going to get that.
This summer, we're going to get a lot of that.
I was actually going to ask, because I'll ask the question later. But like, but I think that we're going to get that too, where it's going to be like, oh, it's Drake May, it's Caleb Williams, it's Bo Nix, it's all of these guys before Jaden Daniels.
You know what? We're in that territory. We are definitely getting.
So that's what I'm saying. You've got the 3.
Last year
like,
was the opposite, and now this year, you're right.
At this point last year, Jaden Daniels was by far the best quarterback in this draft class, and no one questioned it. Right now, if I ask somebody, they would probably say he's 4th. They would, because Drake May for sure they'd say is better. Caleb Williams, especially after how he's been playing the Broncos and Bo Nix, that would be your argument. But even then, it'd be like, well, Bo's still on the field and he's healthy and he's leading the number 1 seed right now. So like people would be like, yeah, it would weird. He moved to he might even move to 4. So it's interesting how that happens in the NFL.
You said you have questions, Kian. Why don't you hit me with the questions before we get to our Christmas
that was the question.
That was
I
it, the
had
Jaden Daniels one?
How would you rank? I was interested, like, how would you rank currently the 2024 quarterback class 1 through 5? I'll go or even 1 through 6 if you want. Yeah, you can throw in JJ there too. Because let's
do the core 4.
Do the core 4 because Penix and JJ are going to be 5 and 6 for
yeah,
all of them.
Exactly.
At the end of last season, if you were to ask anybody, Jaden would be 1, most likely Drake May would be 2, and then or Bo Nix would be 2, Drake May 3, Caleb would be 4 out of that. Out of their consensus. Obviously, other people could argue there was higher highs with Caleb, but there was much lower lows. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
I'll tell you this. Mine would have been coming out of, let's say, week 18 of last year, or even out of the playoffs. It would have been Jaden, then Bo Nix, then Caleb for me, then Drake May. Because I would have told you we didn't really see Drake May with a true NFL team. Is what I would have said last year.
Okay.
So I would have.
I would have had Drake May. I would have had Drake May ahead of Caleb. And I would have been fine with Bo Nix being ahead after the fact that he did get to the playoffs. I think that's how I had my actual quarterback rating. It was Jaden here. Bo, Caleb, and Drake were all in the same line, but it went Bo, Drake, Caleb. So that's what I want to say. I had it Jaden, Bo, Drake, Caleb.
And then if you would have asked me...
even go mid-season or whatever you want to do.
If you would have asked me after week 6, I probably still would have said Jaden. Then I would have it's hard to remember what I felt about these quarterbacks specifically after 6 weeks.
Drake May was coming off the Buffalo win.
I would have either said Drake or Bo number 2. I probably would have had the other number 3, and I would have had Caleb 4. Now, let's say going into the postseason right now, I would have them ranked. I'd have Drake 1.
Yep.
I would probably honestly lean Bo Nix 2. Even though I think Caleb definitely has more talent and ability and has played pretty well mistake-free football lately. So 2A, 2B there. And then, I would have, based off this year, Jaden Daniels would have to be.
You would have, Drake May would be, to me right now, is a clear 1. Pretty clear 1. I mean, any guy that's going to be top 2 MVP finisher has to be deserves to be there. Especially when the guys have the same record around him. And then for me, second actually would be Caleb. I think that right now, I think you're getting less of the misses with Caleb. In Bo, you could argue there's a little bit more consistency at times, but there are other times where Bo has faded and then back fourth quarter, because, I mean, we did kind of call him a mini Tebow midway through the season. And so I would have to do... I would have Jaden 3, Bo 4, and that's not because I think Bo's bad.
That's tough.
And that's not because I think Bo's bad. I just think that Jaden's really good still.
I think he's good, but I think we also have enough evidence to say that maybe that championship run was a little fluky. And maybe fluky's not the right word, but I do think if you play that game... Fortunate. That's the right word. I think if you play that game,
better word.
If you play that divisional round game, Lions Commanders, if you play that game 10 times, I think the Lions.
If you have a 7-game series of that, I think the Lions probably win 4-2.
Yeah, if you play that game 10 times, I think the Lions win it 8 times. 80% of the time, I think they win that game. And Jaden Daniels was, don't get me wrong, he was sublime that game, and he can play that way. He's got real ability from the pocket. Nix, what I'll say. I mean, we saw that Packers game was probably the best game I've seen Nix play. I thought he was great that entire game. I thought he looked like the real deal the entire game. Then this past week, shouts to Brandon Petty. I mean, he's probably going to wonder why we haven't brought this up already. Trevor Lawrence then comes and plays the game of his fucking life in Denver. I never could have imagined that. I never could have imagined the Jaguars just straight up smacking the Broncos in Denver.
I had the Jags winning this game because I thought the Broncos had just gotten to a point where, I didn't think they're an all-time great team. Like, I don't like look. I think
they were an all-time.
No. I'm not saying they were at all. I'm just saying they were about to go on a 12-game winning streak.
Yeah,
and to a really good. So I'm just saying I don't think the Broncos are an all-time great team, and no one really does. But I think if you get to 13 and 14 game winning streaks, you start to be like, is this an all-time great regular season team? Like, you're just pulling off that kind of wins, and I don't think anyone thought that. So and that was kind of my thinking. And I was like, at some point, they're going to lose before the end of the season. I don't think they're ripping off 14 in a row before it happens. And so I was like, this is a game where the Jags are coming in hot. I thought the Jags were going to eke out a win, a close one. I expected the Jags to win. I did not think that was going to happen. That was thoroughly shocking. Thoroughly shocking.
That's the best game I've ever seen Trevor Lawrence play.
Oh, 100%.
I think you can almost enter him in any convo that people were, to me, prematurely entering him in after that Chargers win a few years ago. People were putting him in the top 10, and I was still kind of like, sure, but let's see it. And he's been up and down since then, and honestly, more down than up. And then he's grown up. He's grown up and like looks like the real deal. I'm not going to use the E word here, the famous E word, the debate that we used to have with Joe Flacco. But man, he's heading there. That's a grown man win in Denver.
Yes.
I agree with you. Like, I never thought Denver's this all-time great team, but I'm like, they have such a home field advantage. When you got a warm weather team coming in, it's like, all right, in Denver, in elevation. Yeah, they're a hot team. Jacksonville's as hot as anybody, and they've got legit wins, but come on now. Like, yeah, if they got to win, they got to play Denver's game. They got to win ugly and scrape that field goal out, which they could, by the way. Cam Little could probably hit from 75 in elevation, and they smacked them. And I didn't even think Bo Nix played that bad. Like, they didn't get some conversions late, and that kind of ended the game, but they dominated that game.
Threw a bad pick, but other than that, like, it wasn't one of those games where I was like, oh, it was a fluky Jags win. That was like we went in there and we just beat them up. We just showed that we just played. We might not be the better team overall for people thinking whatever, but that game we were absolutely the better team. That's just how it went.
And what I really liked, and it caught my attention immediately because I think this is the way to beat Denver, talking about these 4 quarterbacks from last year's draft class. I think Jacksonville wanted to receive. I think they took the ball first. Like, they asked for the ball first. And I'm like, that's the way to beat Denver is get them from behind. Get Bo Nix having to play comeback the whole time. He loves to play in front. Bo Nix is a great ball control quarterback. He's more than a game manager because he can throw deep. But in general, that's what he wants to do is protect the ball, scramble, keep the clock running, right? He doesn't want to be the comeback guy. Though we've seen him be the comeback guy, like, that's not what Denver and Sean Payton wants to do with Bo Nix.
They want to play on script. Like, and you can obviously have him off script, but that's when he's going to be apt to throw a pick. And he throws you one a game, will you catch it or not? But he will throw like one ball a game where it's like, oh God, Bo, what were we looking at? And it's if you catch it, you catch it. You don't, you don't.
So I got to say this. All right. We just talked about the Jags and Brandon Petty's Jags, and they've been subject to some shit talking from us. Reasonably so. Because our whole thing, and Petty included, he's been with us on this, is if you're going to have all that hype, at least somewhat live up to it. That's always been our thing. That's been Petty's thing, Tim's thing.
Yeah.
And I just looked at my phone in our fantasy basketball group chat. My boy Gino Lett. Family. Gino Lett is like family to us. He's been hitting me and Keenan up, and he just mentioned it in the group chat, talking about Kyle's on his podcast talking shit about my Bears. I don't think I've ever talked shit about them yet. Have I believed in them? No. It's taken literally pretty much up until these last 3 weeks, really since that Eagles game, for me to believe in them at all. Because no, I didn't really believe in them coming out of that Eagles game even. But props where props are due. I'm not hating on them. I don't hate this team. Actually, I think the NFL's better when the Chicago Bears are good. But if you gave me a belief ranking out of, I'm not even going to put the Vikings in this, just of the Bears, Lions, and Packers, Bears would have been 3. And even up until this week, where I had to see the Lions lose to the Steelers at home, that's what it took for me to put the Bears ahead of the Lions. And even still, like, if we just put these teams into the playoffs, I said this a couple weeks ago. I think I still would like the Lions a little better than the Packers or the Bears. They're obviously banged up to shit. Like, they are as banged up as you can get. So that's the part you wouldn't like. But in general, with their playoff pedigree, the talent they have on their roster, yeah, I still like them a little more than the Bears. That being said, the Bears have pulled out a lot of games. They've got 6 wins where they're behind in the last 2 minutes of this season.
Yeah, 6-4 this season.
And I think that's an NFL record. 6 wins in the last 2 minutes.
It's close to. I think the rest of the league is like 3,210-1 or something like that. Because I think the Cowboys were down or Packers were down.
Look, we're 17 weeks in, and I still can't really make heads or tails of the Bears. They're definitely a real team. They're pretty much that team I presented to the group in our divisional round previews or in our divisional previews, where I said, hey, week 12 and on, this Bears team is going to be a team maybe that you don't want to see. They've lived up to that. They've lived up to that. I think with them, in comparison to Trevor Lawrence, and maybe Caleb Williams has already earned this with the Eagles win, with this win against the Packers and Malik Willis this past Saturday. For me, Trevor Lawrence, that win against the Broncos, I'm going to treat Trevor Lawrence with a little more respect. He and the Jags would treat with more respect.
Yeah, he's no more Bill Lawrence, no more William Lawrence. It's Trevor.
Like, I expect them to lose. Lawrence. I expect them to lose this week, and that wasn't necessarily because of Trevor Lawrence. I just thought the Broncos were going to outplay them. But the fact that he really did go in there and he played elite quarterbacking on Sunday. His accuracy was as good as I've ever seen it. Every time he dropped back, I felt confident that he was going to complete a pass. Like, that's stuff I haven't felt about Trevor Lawrence, and I wasn't even rooting for or against him. Caleb, I'm not there yet with. I think I would still have to see a wild card weekend win, or maybe they officially get this 1 seed. Maybe they win that bye week, right? They get the bye week, then they win the divisional round. I feel like I'd still have to see that with Caleb. Maybe he can change my mind in these next 2 weeks. So it's not shit talk, my boy. It's not shit talk when it comes to the Bears, Gene. It's just skepticism, and it's not hate. Because again, I want to see this Bears team do well. I want to see a Chicago team do well. I'm just skeptical. Just a little skeptical. But they're a good team. They're a good team. Let me say they're a good team.
I have more faith in the Bears than you do. Shout out to Gene. I appreciate Gene much. But I have more faith in the Bears than you do. I think that I would favor them over the Lions at this point. I think that they're just been like, it's odd. I can kind of just trust what they do at this point because they've done it so consistently. And I know late game that they're not going to fold. That's all I'm not saying that the Lions will always fold, but like the Lions didn't, in a must-have a game against the Steelers at home, they didn't show up. I don't know if that's more on.
I can't say they didn't show up.
They didn't show up until later. I felt like early on in that game. I don't know. I just felt like you were just. So I guess you were waiting for them to get going rather than not show up. Because not show up means there's a lack of intensity.
Yeah, I can't say they didn't show up. I thought the Steelers were extremely well coached.
I think
the Steelers met the task against the Lions. And the Lions, I mean, they almost stole that game. And you could argue did steal that game, depending on how you feel about the final call there.
Yeah.
I think they got outplayed. I wouldn't say they didn't show up, though. I didn't necessarily get that.
Outplay, it's fair. No, it's fair. But overall, I think that I trust the Bears more than the Lions this year.
That's interesting.
It's the same. I mean, at some point, I trusted the Chiefs less than I do these other teams too. Like, it's just like, I feel if we were to have never watched football before and we were just to watch football this year, like, you have to trust. I mean, take out wins and losses aside, I feel like you would have to trust what you've seen from the Bears more than the Lions.
Debatable.
At this point.
Debatable, because I feel like the Lions have had some real wins. The Bears were fighting for their life against Malik Willis.
Yeah, they were. Fair. It took an onside
kick.
Lions are the same thing. The Lions also same thing against the Giants. It took a long field goal in overtime for them to beat the Giants as well. So teams have had that, but like they thoroughly beat the Eagles. They obviously I know it took down to that, but they played the Packers close twice, and the Packers are a team that we both had faith in pre-Micah. So even post-Micah. And Malik Willis actually has played really well with the Packers as the backup quarterback. Played really well.
Sure has.
But just overall, it's like taking a snapshot. I think sometimes the preconceived notions of what these teams are, I'm not going to speak for you, for me, sometimes it's like well, the Jags are going to jag at some point, or the Bears are going to bear at some point, and that's where you have faith in someone like Mahomes, where it's like, oh, it's the Chiefs, but it's Patrick Mahomes. He's done it before, so he's going to do it again. You always kind of follow yourself into history, and this year is kind of showing that history is not, this isn't like a full historical, like history repeats itself year. Obviously, we have Trevor Lawrence, who in the past had really kind of folded in a lot of moments, and now he is really showing up. Obviously, had a big playoff win, but otherwise, there's a lot of moments where it kind of wasn't good for him. He's showing up this year. We were trusting like the Bears logo themselves. It was like they don't win games like that against the Packers. That they just don't win those. That typically is how they lose to the Packers. It's like an Aaron Rodgers goes out in the first half, comes back, and they win a game or something along those lines. It's like those are the ways that the Bears like lose games, and they're winning those games this year. Obviously, in recent memory, the Patriots had not been playing obviously great football, and then now this year we see the Patriots. It's like, oh, is that Tom? Is that Tom and Bill out there? No, that's just Drake May and Vrabel out there. So it's a lot of differences, and obviously we're going to be no Burrow, no Lamar, and no Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs unless the Ravens do something crazy, which unfortunately I don't think they're going to do.
I just want to say to the Bears' point, we'll talk about the Ravens and Pats in a second, but to the Bears, like Gene, the thing he put in the group chat the other day, he was like, y'all said they're dumb enough to, I still feel that way, that they're just dumb enough. They are dumb enough to go win a Super Bowl. They are talented enough to win a Super Bowl. I said, had they hired Mike Vrabel this year, had they got to Vrabel before the Pats and Ben Johnson wasn't the prize, that I absolutely would have bought in on this team being a Super Bowl team. They got Ben Johnson. They've been on this win streak. Obviously, they've gotten real wins, and still something inside me just still can't trust Caleb Williams more than it is the Bears team. It's more Caleb Williams, just throwing a rogue pick, which we know he's got that in him. If he can stay hot. And by the way, this is the thing we mentioned Joe Flacco and the E word earlier.
Yeah.
This was the thing with Flacco. Flacco used to be,
or even Eli.
Eli more than Flacco with the interceptions. For sure. Yeah. For sure. That's a good comparison. Caleb is one of those guys where if he reins it in, yeah, man, look out. Look out. And he's been reining it in. Yes. I'm just waiting for that moment where we get 2 picks where we're like, hey boy, what were you looking at there when you threw that? You know, because he's definitely got it in him. That's really my hang up with the Bears. Can they beat anybody? Yes. Can they lose to anybody?
And that's the thing with the Jags that's difficult too, is like both of them, Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence, the highs are as good as any other quarterback really in the league. Like when you see, you're like, wait, that's why they're the number 1 overall picks. That's why they're highly touted, why they're up to these prospects. It was that the lows were just so incredibly low. It's like, that's backup Nathan Peterman-esque quarterbacking. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's just bad. And they're cutting out the bad. And if they do that, then they're going to be top 10. We see the talent there. We know it's there. Like, it's just, can you actually bring it together and quarterback? Can you be a C at your worst rather than always being an F at your worst? Like, can that be how it goes along? Because obviously you're going to have an F game here and there, and you're going to do those bad things. Like, everyone's not perfect all the time, of course. But how often can your bads just be passable rather than your bads being, like, failing and terrible? And they're doing a really good job at making it. Like, Caleb in that game against the Packers wasn't great early, but it wasn't 4 picks or bad fumbles. It was just, they weren't executing. And then after that, obviously after the gift, reminiscent, I was talking with Austin, reminiscent of 2014, reminiscent of that the NFC Championship game, Packers and Seahawks, where even down to how the game ended, because Caleb Williams makes one of the best throws of his life for a touchdown to DJ Moore, the same way Russell Wilson did right down the seam to get to a Super Bowl. It was like really reminiscent of that game. I feel for Packers fans because they must have gotten 2014 flashes all over again when Romeo Doubs dropped that. But yeah, we've gone 33 minutes though, really, without really talking about the Patriots went over the Ravens.
Let me give you one more thing. Let me give you one more thing on the Jags though, and why I'm taking them for real.
Yeah. Okay.
On October 19th, they lose in London to the Rams 35-7.
Yes.
Then they get a bye week. Since that bye week, they've only lost 1 game to the Texans. Mm-hmm. But that's not really what sticks out to me. I'm going to read you off their point totals from each of these games post-London, okay?
Yep.
30, 29, 35, 27, 25, 36, 48, 34. They do not go without at least 3 touchdowns on top of a power leg field goal.
Yeah.
They're at least getting to 25 since their bye week. You're going to have to score and by the way, they're scoring points in Denver and Tennessee. That's not really all right. So really only one cold weather city. They've actually played quite a bit of warm weather cities or domes since that day. But in one cold weather city in Denver, they scored 34. They'll have the Colts in a dome next week. Then they'll have the Titans at home. And they're probably going to have a home game. You're going to have to outscore this team to beat them. Defenses aren't really phasing them. It's one reason why I'm just taking them a little more serious than I normally would is their scoring potential here. And they got talent on defense, obviously. T-Law seems locked in. But yes, let's go to the Patriots. We have not talked about the Patriots, and then we'll end with our exercise.
Yes. So, Kyle, I bet this game 3 times during the game.
Nice.
Fun enough. I bet it to start the game. I bet it when we're down 13-17, and I bet it when we're down 13-24 because I was confident we were coming back. And I haven't felt that way since that guy. I just haven't and not that like it's that sure because with Tom Brady, like I could tell you within the first probably 20 minutes if this was one of those games that they're not going to come back and like you can just kind of book it, or if it was one of those games where it was like, oh no, they're coming back. Like it was just something about that. I don't know if you had that, ever had those feelings as well. It's like they might be down 14, but the way Brady and this offense is feeling, I just know they're coming back in this game. Or there are games where it's like they're getting blown out. Like some games against like the Chiefs early on, like that one big blowout. It's like you knew early in that game. It's like they don't have it today. But the confidence that I had in Drake May on those last couple drives, I hadn't felt in a while watching a Patriots game, and it was really good to feel. It wasn't the sure of like, oh yeah, we've got this game in the bag where like when Tom didn't come through, it was more shocking. But I felt confident that Drake May was the guy that we needed leading us down the field. And if we would have gotten hosed on that, I would have been so upset if that pass that was the most blatant pass. Oh my goodness gracious. That was such a terrible no call. I'm so glad that it didn't do it. Like it came down to it. But Drake May was special late. Played a little shaky early, but was special late. So, and shout out to them. And you talk also that Variable got out coached early on because of that 4th and 10. You're like, wait a second, what's going on?
Yeah,
that was one of the craziest things. Why? There's just no. They're starting Tyler Huntley in the second half. What are we doing this for? Play a field position game. There's no need to get panicky. This is not Josh Allen when he's cooking in Buffalo. Like, there's no need to get panicky.
It's interesting because what I've liked about this Pats team the most this year is how well coached they are between Vrabel and Josh McDaniels.
100%.
So for them to have that, again, it did look like Vrabel's getting out coached for the majority of that game. And then after we got the ball don't lie, because, that should have been a pass interference deep on Kashawn Boutte. They don't call it for whatever reason. Again, whatever reason they didn't call it, I don't know. I would love an explanation. Vrabel said he didn't get an explanation. I would love an explanation from the NFL with some of the shit that I see go on weekly. I've often praised. I don't want to get on this tangent, but I've praised the NFL to say like, yes, they have questionable calls every week, but the later you get in the year and specifically playoff time, like it usually tightens up. Yes, there are some controversial calls here and there, some blatantly controversial, but usually it tightens up. I think it's gotten worse as the season has drawn on. I think this last quarter of the season has been extremely inconsistent reffing, and I'm worried about it.
Really nervous.
I'm worried about it going into the postseason. Genuinely worried about it because I think it was this game too, wasn't it? We got a roughing the passer on Lamar.
On Lamar. Yeah, it was on Lamar. Was it?
He didn't fall. We didn't hardly touch his helmet. It was an awful call.
So weak. So weak.
I'll say this: Pats won the game. I'm happy we won the game. I think they're lucky. John Harbaugh I think he's a upper echelon coach in this league. Maybe not an elite coach, but an upper echelon coach. He very clearly has issues closing out a game, and we saw that. Derrick Henry was running all over us. I don't think he touched the ball for the final 10 minutes of the game, something like that.
12 minutes he didn't touch the ball, and I was super happy about it. That's been my biggest confusion all year long. Like the Bengals game where they lost 32-14, Henry touchdown he was 10 carries for 60 yards in that game. And the Bengals in the first half couldn't put the ball in the end zone. It was just field goal after fourth down that they didn't convert after field goal. Just Derrick Henry wasn't I would have spammed Derrick Henry. He would have gotten the ball 30 times that game. I just don't get it. And I know they go on a rotation or whatever, but what are we doing? It's Derrick Henry. What are we doing?
I think Harbaugh has reason to. I think he's built up enough equity to where he should come back next season, even if they miss the playoffs. He should. He should come back.
I don't know if he will. No, I'm just saying, if they bring him back, okay.
That's what I was about to say is he's very well coached his way out of a job, not giving Derrick Henry the ball. That's the first thing I would do is all right, that's what Bill Belichick would do, right? Prime Bill Belichick. Oh, our quarterback's out. Who's let's say not Tom Brady, but Lamar Jackson. Bill Belichick's coaching this team. Lamar's out. We're completely changing to a power heavy run team. That's what we're doing. And that's what you should do when you have Derrick Henry. That's what you do.
I've watched games where Tom thrown 10 times and we just spammed LeGarrette Blount or someone because that's the matchup.
That's what I mean.
We've seen Tom throw 50 times.
That's what I mean. You have this gift here in a all-time great running back, and I get he's getting older, but we saw last year and this year, this last game, the dude clearly still has pop. I could understand those first few weeks when Lamar's out or when he's coming back from injury, if you want to ease him in a little bit. But weeks 12 and on, you ain't got time for that. You gotta go with it. And I think it's completely possible that Harbaugh is coaching his way out of this job. I think he's built up enough equity to where he could come back, or maybe should earn at least one more year or prove it year. But he's also done enough coaching flaws this year to where you can say, hey, nah, we need a new voice. And apparently that's what a lot of the players, including Lamar Jackson, want, if you believe the internet rumors. Back to the Pats, though. I still kind of feel the same way about this team. I actually feel much about this Ravens win the way I did against the Bills, the first win we had, or the only win we had against the Bills this year, where I felt like it wasn't really a great game. I don't think the Patriots necessarily outplayed either team, but they ended up with a win, and that Drake May made the plays down the stretch. I don't think this Pats team nor the Broncos team, I don't think either one of them are a fake contender, right? In fact, I think the Pats have more upside than the Broncos if we're talking about the top two seeds. I've yet, though, to me, what sticks out more than anything with the Patriots is their coaching more than their on-field product. Diggs sticks out because this is far and beyond what I ever would have imagined from Stephon Diggs. But overall, the team, they're well coached. All right, they can throw deep on you. They can run the ball. They can run explosively when Travion is healthy, right? He's going to have a concussion, so he might be out for a week and a half here, maybe 2 weeks. They're not necessarily a dominant defensive team, but when everyone's right, they can rush the passer. They're fast on defense. They can cause turnovers. They can hit hard. They're not the best defensive team. They're not the best offensive team, but they can pretty much match up against anybody you wanted. So I love that about them. And I think they're live to win the Super Bowl. Not necessarily maybe my pick right now to win the Super Bowl, but they're absolutely live. And along with 10 other teams. So I'm very interested how it falls with them between this one and the two, because I think they very easily win these last two games. You're going to have the Jets on a third string quarterback, and you're going to have the Dolphins on a second string quarterback.
So they should get to 14-3, and if that happens, the Chargers, as long as if the Chargers beat the Texans next week, the Chargers and Broncos game will be for the for the AFC West. And so if the Chargers do win that game, then the Patriots would automatically have the 1 seed, or if because the Broncos, I'm sorry, they're not losing. If the Broncos lose this week, just kick them out of the playoffs.
This is essentially
literally. I'm not even kidding. Kick them out of the playoffs if they lose this week. Andy Reid must have gotten in his bag, and their third string quarterback, whose name I can't really fully pronounce, must be insane. Like, must be playing insane. But no, I think the Patriots are set up very well, and they're a real team and a real contender in the AFC. A real contender in the AFC. And I know there's a lot of teams that could go win it. That's fine, but they're a real contender in the AFC. They've got the coaching, they've got the quarterback, and from there they've got pieces. They're getting healthier. Milton Williams should be back before the end of the season, so the run defense should be more sure. Will Campbell will be back before the end of the season, so Drake May will be better protected. Like, the thing with the Patriots is not that every team hasn't dealt with them, but they've been dealing with a lot of injuries on the front line, on the lines on both sides, really. So that's been really a kind of carousel of guys coming in and out there. So it's been really difficult for the Patriots at time to keep Drake May clean. But overall, I think that this team's just, since that Steelers loss, they're not going to like really beat themselves. They're going, like, if you're going to beat them, you're going to beat them. That's kind of just how it's going to go. So if that's the case, then you're live against anybody.
And by the way, the stuff I said about Caleb Williams, where I said, like, I'm waiting for him to still have that game where he throws 2 ridiculous picks. I figured I would still be saying that about Drake May. He's completely cut that out of his game. Though he did have 2 turnovers against the Ravens. He did have a pick and he had that fumble. He just seems very mature and poised with the ball in the pocket. I have a lot of confidence in him every time he drops back.
And it's weird because he was the guy that had like the maybe arguably the least polished of this class. Like, going into the draft, like, it was him and JJ, but even JJ, like, he was probably the least polished, but had the one of the highest upsides, which is why he got taken at 3 and didn't fall later on. And right now he looks arguably like the most polished guy. He has the highest completion percentage, and he's throwing the ball down the field, and I would argue is the best deep ball thrower in the league already. Like,
looks like
that throw to Kyle Williams, like, and that's not just like a one-off, obviously, as people have watched the league this year. Like, it's been just all season long.
No place to put it, and he dropped it right in.
Yeah, he's just dropping in dimes all season, and that's what makes me confident in the Patriots. And it's like, if we need to be in a shootout, I feel confident with him needing to be in a shootout. But also, if we get in a sloppy game, then I trust our coaching, and that's what you're going to need in a sloppy game. And hopefully Henderson, I don't think Henderson's going to be out long-term or anything. I think he might even be back this week. But with Henderson and Ramondre, the running game isn't actually terrible, though they don't have like a great yards per carrying game and everything like that. But since Henderson's really become a part of the offense, I think the Patriots run game has been doing better and better, and they have some punch now too to them. So I like this roster. I think that obviously it's a year-to-year league, and though we thought that next year might be the year, this could, no Mahomes, no Burrow, probably no Lamar. Josh, you might not have to see him again, and if you do, it's the one guy that you see twice a year and you actually are more familiar with than any of the other quarterbacks. So, like, if it was going to be one guy that you would want to see out of all of them, it might be the guy you're most familiar with. Don't get me wrong.
That's the weird part about it. That's the weird part about it.
Not making it sound like Josh isn't one of them, because Josh is clearly one of them, but like, just, you've seen him the most. You know him better than anyone else.
That's the weird part about it, is we're a bad matchup for the Bills, not because stylistically, even though we've proven to be that, but it's because of how much we'll scout, and they'll be coming to us, which isn't really a big deal because they just beat us at Gillette, and they're obviously a cold weather team. But I mean, I always think if you get that third matchup and the teams are at all close, it's almost favorable to the underdog in the situation, which we would be. The Pats would be the underdog in that situation. I don't know. To me, it's more favorable to be the Pats in that situation, even though I think the Bills are actually the better team.
And going into that game, who has more expectations on them?
Exactly.
Too? Like the Bills. This is the Bills' year. You have.
I think the Bills would want to see any other team in the AFC than us. Honestly, I think we're the one team.
I was like, who else would you want to be like? Oh my goodness, the 2 guys who have knocked us out of the playoffs for the last 5 years are not even going to be in the playoffs. The other guy who gives us a hard time in the playoffs is not there. So now it's like, this is our year. It was supposed to be your guys' year going into the season. Like, this was
now this is your year. Now it's even
more. It's more your year. So like, this is supposed to be our division for a while. Brady is gone, and we've had the best quarterback, and we've had this. And if the Patriots get to a Super Bowl before you do within that stint, that's tough. That's really tough. Like,
that's
I don't
think
think
a mental blow. If that happens,
it
that's
will
gonna be
be
a mental blow.
And if that's the case, I wonder. And I don't even feel like he needs to be, but like, I wonder what's going to happen with Sean McDermott. Like, does he get like? I think it depends on how the game goes and how it looks. Like, if you can't get it done this year, like, do you get let go? And I just think it's crazy because there was a point where I was thinking like the could have Sean McDermott could be gone, John Harbaugh could be gone. There was rumblings of Tomlin; he's probably going to be fine. But again, if they get blown out in a playoff game, I don't know. Like, probably he's fine, but like, it's weird. It's just there could be a lot of like big time coaches who are long tenured coaches who could be gone this season. It's interesting what this offseason is going to bring.
My thing with
McDermott at the moment.
My thing with McDermott, the Bills can't get rid of him because they have not had any stability in that franchise since the
90s,
maybe the last 90s. Super Bowl year, if not maybe when they had Flutie competing for quarterback in the early 2000s. Like, they've had no stability this entire century up until McDermott got there. And they really haven't lost any games because of him. Harbaugh, like I said, he's looking to coach his way out. Like, we got a Hall of Fame running back. Let's not use him against a team that's struggling against him with our season on the line. Like, McDermott doesn't lose those games, and you damn well better find like a better replacement or someone on par with him if you get rid of him. So I don't think that's why
I think it comes down to how they lose and when they lose.
Yeah, it depends. Maybe. But even then, like, that's still an iffy way to just like run your franchise. Like
I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with that. We had a conversation about this preseason. It was one of those things where it was just like, how many more times do you continue to run the same thing and continue to get the same result, and it's not the result you want? Like, that was my only point behind it, because I think Sean McDermott, if he got fired today, would be getting like 4 calls tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing about it, where you need a guy to line it up. It was kind of like when you fired Tibbs from the Knicks. It's like, okay, like, yes, I get it. Like, how, like, is he going to push you forward? Maybe no. But how many guys are you going to get that's going to be an upgrade from Tibbs that's out there in the coaching circuit right now? Mike Brown's done a good job so far, don't get me wrong. But like, and I know it's it's like apples to oranges, but like, that's kind of just my first comparison thought.
Yeah, no, the difference to me though between Tomlin and Harbaugh and McDermott is Tomlin wins. We see that he wins. Hell and high water, he's going to get 9+ wins somehow. They'll probably get double-digit wins this year. I have some Steelers thoughts too, because they're just the weirdest team in the world to me. Let me finish my point before I get on the Steelers. I don't think any Steelers fan would be upset, but like with Tomlin, it's kind of like an Andy Reid thing. Andy Reid won so many games in Philly, and they were on the doorstep. They were in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game a lot. And then even past that, they were always in the playoffs, always in the mix, always had talented teams. Then he had one average season and one bad season due to injury, and he was gone because he was there for so long, really was the reason. And I think that's kind of the situation Harbaugh has got himself into. Difference, obviously, with Andy compared to John Harbaugh and Tomlin is they each had a Super Bowl win. Now we're talking several years ago for Mike Tomlin and, last decade for John Harbaugh. So I agree. Same thing with them. If they were to get fired, I think they would each have jobs tomorrow if they were to get fired today. Difference with McDermott, difference with Tomlin, and difference with Harbaugh. Ravens and Steelers had stability way before they got there. They just continued it.
Yeah.
Bills have been a poverty franchise pretty much, again, since that last Super Bowl in the 90s up until McDermott and Josh Allen got there. And again, I'm sure McDermott over the years has definitely had some bad losses, but these playoff losses have never really been his fault. They've all been circumstantial. They've all been like 99th percentile weird losses or, a missed field goal loss. So that's where I would say is the difference with McDermott. Because again, that Bills franchise, they've gone through it up until these last 6 or 7 years. And that's in large part, obviously, Josh Allen, but also because of Sean McDermott. Okay, let's get to it. We're an hour in. Let's try to breeze through this. And again, I do have Steelers thoughts. I have 49ers thoughts, but maybe I'll get to them later in the week, or maybe even at the end of this podcast. I can give you 2 minutes on each. But Keenan, it's December 23rd. Christmas is obviously literally right around the corner. Give me 3 gifts. Could be whatever sport. I don't care if they're all NFL. And we can go back and forth. We can go mano a mano. We can go 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah.
3 gifts from the sporting world you'd want. Let's start. Give me number 1.
One, I've got to say it, and it's obvious, and it's the Patriots in a Super Bowl.
Oh, that would be a gift. That would be a gift.
That Patriots in the Super Bowl. I like. Obviously, you don't want to win in the Super Bowl, of course. And being in an AFC Championship game would just feel like home again. We went 8 straight years. It just feel like home again. But like the Patriots getting back to a Super Bowl, oh boy. I'd walk around with light on my feet. I'd feel like Mike. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mike Jordan, Tyson, Jackson, doesn't matter what Mike. I'd feel like Mike. Oh boy. We get to the Super Bowl. That's my number one gift. And I can't. Number one gift is the Patriots getting to the Super Bowl. My God. If they win it, I'll be insufferable. I'll be insufferable.
Listen,
we weren't even supposed to do anything this year, guys. We were supposed to just be a cute team, and we won a Super Bowl. Oh, boy. Dynasty's back.
You alluded to it earlier.
I'll be insufferable.
You alluded to it earlier. Obviously, more and more by the week does that feel possible, that we could at least be playing on championship weekend. That feels like 50-50 at least at this point, if not 60-40, depending on how it ends up. There's talented teams in the AFC, so I don't want to.
Of course,
I want to act like we just got an advantage there. But if you got one home game to win, and it could be snowy and cold in Foxborough, and then you got an AFC Championship game, like you like your chances.
Yes.
So, yeah, it feels more and more possible by the week that the Pats could do that. And if they find themselves in a Super Bowl, again, everyone was already forecasting. Even if this team was average, like I thought this team was going to be between 7 and 9 wins, and I would have been ecstatic with 10 wins. And we were probably going to end with 14. And we were all looking towards next year being like, all right, that's the year where they're going to load up. They're going to have a year under their belt with Drake May, who has also exceeded our expectations. Vrabel's done what we thought he would do. McDaniels exceeded my expectations, probably because Drake's exceeded his. He's clearly... McDaniels is in his motherfucking bag, bro, with Drake May. Like, you can just tell he's
Shout out to Brock Purdy saying that about Kyle. I don't know if you saw the post game, but Brock Purdy post game was like, yeah, Kyle was in his bag tonight. Talking about Kyle Shanahan.
I didn't see that, but Josh McDaniels.
It's funny. It just made me think of it because Josh McDaniels truly has been like doing his thing.
You can just tell how he's play calling, like, and this is just the beginning. This is the worst Drake May likely, barring injury, is going to be. All right. You got that with the cap space they have next year. The fact that they could build this defense and add, even if they added one playmaker, they could do that in the draft. Like between the draft and their cap and what they've already got, Keenan, the only thing I'm worried about next season, and we haven't even finished this regular season yet, would be the fact that they're going to play a first place schedule. That would be the only thing that's going to hold them up. And even then, I mean, what's not to be encouraged about? So I agree with you. Not only would that be a gift, Keenan, but it's a tangible gift. It seems more and more and more possible the closer we get to January, and obviously the closer we get to February.
Oh, man.
My gift, I alluded to this, and I feel like speaking this into existence or speaking this into the air might even speak it into existence, and I don't want that. My gift would be, I do not want any one of these beautiful playoff games that we're going to have to be decided by the stripes. I don't want the white and black stripes, the referee. I don't want them to be deciding what goes on in these games because, man, we said going into week 16, I said, hey, this is the latest that we've gone into a season in quite some time with no divisional game or no divisions wrapped up. Coming out of week 16, we literally only have the NFC East wrapped up. There's some in theory where you can be like, okay, yeah, that one's going to be wrapped up and go this way. But in writing, we only have the NFC East to the Eagles going into week 17. We'll probably have more clarity after week 17, yes. But all that to say, this is the most competitive NFL season probably any of us have seen in quite some time. Probably since, I don't know, 2009, 2008, 2010 range, when we got some weird Super Bowls.
The Steelers featured in them. If there's a weird one, if a weird year, the Steelers featured in it, which is good.
Specifically
08, 2010.
I gotta tell you this, Keenan,
05.
Steelers, Cardinals, that was an all-time one. The Cardinals were definitely the weird part of that, right?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl 100%. Where it's Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and they beat the Steelers. How many conversations in your life have you had about that Super Bowl?
I'm not gonna lie. I have
it's that many
a very random memory, and my one memory of a Super Bowl conversation I remember having is with none other than Jen Pion in 8th grade, because
this is going into the game.
This is going into the game. That's how long. No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Has how long of conversations I don't. Because you're right. We don't talk about that Super Bowl. For some, we just don't.
It's Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl appearance in which he won. It set him off, and
then we talk about the next year more when he goes 45 touchdowns to 6 picks. They go 15-1. They lose to the Giants. We talk about that season more, and Lil Wayne comes out with the song Green and Yellow. Golly, I don't talk about. There's weird years because I feel like. Between the Patriots, and I obviously we know we're Patriots fans, but between Patriots 07 and Patriots 11, I feel like just no one talks about those Super Bowls like that much.
Steelers Cardinals comes up quite a bit.
Steelers Cardinals, yeah, because that game was great. But then the next one was Colts Saints.
Not
that it was a bad game.
That
at
one
all,
at least comes up in reference. I hear that in reference way
Breeze got
more.
his first.
I hear that one in reference way more than the Rodgers one. And then the next one after that, what was that? What was the 10 one? What was after that? It was
10 was Rodgers.
That was the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next year after that was that, and it's just weird. I don't know. It's just a weird one. Just a weird one.
It's super weird. So yeah, that would be my gift. Please, NFL, do not give us questionable officiating. Give us some real shit because between how the Lions game ended, how do you feel about the second one, the Amon-Ra one? The pick one pisses me off, not because I think that was offensive pass interference, the pick play. What pisses me off about that is in years past, man, specifically with the Kansas City Chiefs, I feel like some teams got away with it way more.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's never consistently called, but I do think that was a pick play. How do you feel about the Amon-Ra push off though? I feel like that one's another one that gets 50-50.
So the push off was on the one where he lateraled it back to Jared Goff, right? I don't think it fully mattered because I do think his forward momentum was stopped, even though I do agree with you. I do think it was a 50-50 call. I'm fine with you calling it. I'm fine with you not calling it, but I also think
called
that
the lateral live. They said the lateral.
Yeah. So the play made no sense. All of it made no sense to me because if it was PI, but they called it a touchdown, wouldn't you get one more play?
Yeah, I was kind of confused about that as well.
Because if it was if the you're declining the touchdown and it was a penalty, it'd be 15 yards, but the penalty is not lost a down, so wouldn't you get one more play? So that was what was confusing me there because they said calling the field's a touchdown. And I don't understand how it was because he was at the one, stopped, got pushed back multiple yards, and then lobbed to Jared Goff. It was just all of it was weird. All of it was just weird. So I'm fine with the outcome because I think the right team won the game. I guess that's kind of where I come down. It comes down to me. Is I thought the Steelers were the better team in that game. The Steelers ended up winning that game in the way they would have won. I guess that's just kind of how I'm rationalizing with it.
Did you think it was OPI?
I'm fine with it either way.
Would you have called it OPI?
I wouldn't have. I probably no, because I think I'm fine with it being more physical. But during the game, that would have been OPI, so I would have called it. Me personally, I'm fine with more physicality on both sides. I think offensively, I think that it's fine to get a little bit of push. Because the Kayshon Boutte one, talking about offensive pass interference, if you remember that one on third down that they called him on, Drake May was rolling out and he kind of pushed off. I was like, that's light. That was a light one. So I don't call ones like that because I think that as long as we're not shoving, the same thing in basketball. Like, I think you can push off a little bit, but like once we extend the arm too much, and I think it's too much. So I allow physicality mentally in my head. So I wouldn't have called it, but I also wouldn't have called it a touch because I thought his forward momentum was stopped. So I would have blown the play dead personally.
That one I was surprised they allowed the forward motion to continue. But
yeah, it's weird because like calling the field was a touchdown, but it felt like it was like stopped because like everyone stopped. Heads up play to lob it to Goff though, because you knew you had no chance, and Goff, like, good for him to like jump in, because like if they didn't call that and it was called a touchdown, shout out to them for at least being heads up with it. But
my thing is, if you're gonna call that, call it consistently, and they don't call it consistently
100%,
enough. So
100%.
I'm 50-50 on it. I kind of wish it would have stood so we could have seen if the Lions go for 2 there or what, because I think they're down 7 there. Man, yeah, it's been happening too frequently where I'm like, what is this call? Why are we calling this? The roughing the passers, the pass interferences in particular. I don't love them. I do not love them.
I don't either. I don't love them either at all.
Keenan gift too.
I'm gonna give a quick pause in the gifts. I just want to say this: Spurs are up 12 on the Thunder with 9 minutes to go in the fourth, and Cooper Flagg put up 33-9-9 in a win against the Nuggets tonight.
Wow!
I just wanted to bring up both of those points. The Spurs. Because the Spurs are making me want my second gift to be a Spurs Thunder playoff series, because this looks like it might go a 6 or might be a children's meme and go 6 or 7. Because golly, like, the Spurs play this team tough, and they have the versatility and they have the star power in the Wemby, but they have the versatility to match this team.
What's Wemby's stat line right now?
Wemby's chilling. He's got 12 points, 5 rebounds, and no blocks.
I'm questioning why the Thunder would be down 12 in this game. That's very
Shea has 29, but in this game, it's been by committee. Barnes has 20, Keldon Johnson has 20, Castle has 18, Vassell has 14. So like it's just been a team effort from the San Antonio Spurs. So yeah. And then Castle just hit another 3. Like, no, this has been a very interesting game to kind of keep a tab on while we've been doing this. But no, overall, my second gift would be, and I hate to put this out into the ether, but I'm going to do it anyway, and we're going to knock on wood again. Health. That's all I'm going to say. My second gift is health. I just want everybody playing. And everyone's thinking it. I'm sorry I said it. I knock on wood, but just health.
Every sport?
I want the best guys playing, and women. I don't want to leave them out because I obviously watch a lot of women's basketball. I want the best players playing at the highest leverage moments. That's all I ask. Let the chips fall as they may. And obviously we know things are going to happen here and there, and tweaks and things like that happen. But like, not that I think the Warriors were going to go win it all last year, but I felt like we were robbed of a Steph moment, possibly. Like, what if Steph does carry them to the conference finals because he was playing at that level? And Warriors are another conversation, Kyle. I
have a lot of Steph Curry thoughts that I want to get out.
Kyle, we could talk about this for 45 minutes. Because obviously, I'm a Curry fan, clearly. The way the Warriors have ran their organization for the last 5 years. Boy, oh boy. Call Bob Myers back. But anyways, yeah, so like just
Bob
things
Myers
like
is part of the reason why they're in this.
No, a little bit too. Yeah, you're right. But just little things like that where I'm like, I just don't want those moments taken. Like, I want our stars to have star moments. Halliburton Game 7 last year. Tatum last year, too. Obviously, Lillard, too. I'm thinking this is mostly basketball so far. We know, obviously, and football, too. But, like, Halliburton Game 7 could have been an all-time moment for him. Because, realistically, he was the best player on the floor for the time he was in the game. Like, he already had 8 points. Like, it could have been what did we just witness from Tyree? Did the Pacers really just go win it all? How? Like, I could have been one of those ones where it's like, is Halliburton a top 8 player because of how? Like, what happened? But I just want health across sports so we can watch the best players be the best. That's all. It's my second gift.
Can't disagree. Obviously, like, absolutely can't disagree. I will say, man, the more we have these injuries in the NFL in particular, the more I'm longing for the 16-game season.
Yes.
I remember when we first went to 17 games. I said on the podcast, I'm like, hey, and I said this about 7 teams in the playoffs too. It felt like 6 was perfect. Now I don't hate the 7 as much, but I remember saying, like, yo, for few things in life are perfect. 16 games in the NFL is perfect. 8-8. If you're below 8-8, we get it. If you're slightly above 8-8, if you're 9-8, 9-8-7, you're average, right? And you can still get that in the NFL. But man, having that extra game, and I've said this in the past, it really does, for some reason, Keenan, feel like 3 extra games. The season feels so long. If it's a 16-game season, like, I don't know, how does the Rams Seahawks play out, right? Like, this, the fact that the Niners are going to have a chance now to win the 1 seed when the Rams have been the best team in the NFC West the whole year, and the Niners technically probably have a better shot than them. Really weird. And that can technically happen in a 16-game season, but you're seeing it more and more. The Colts, they're going to literally die on the back of Phillip Rivers because Daniel Jones just couldn't withstand the season. But it's not only him. It's, all these we see it every year. It's Mahomes. It's Burrow in the past. It's Lamar.
It's less preseason. Like, I'm also a person too that loves statistics. Like, I deep dive statistics. I love to know the history, stats, and things like that. And it's obviously you can't compare eras ever, obviously, because like this is a more passing era than before, anyways. But the 17 games, like, just makes things like so hard. So like Eric Dickerson is like, yeah, he's got the most rushing of all time, but like it was in it's just like the games comparison too. It just makes it difficult. Like, 16 was perfect to me. Having the bye weeks within a 4-week span would be perfect to me. Like, if you just had it, like, I just think there's a way to do it, because I think the difference between a week 5 bye and we're having buys in week 14, like, what are we doing? Like, 9 weeks of buys with like a bye week. We have a bye week of bye weeks because they're like in week 13 or 12. Like,
it would be
no bye weeks that week.
You're right, Keenan. It would be a lot better if we had a bye month and you just kind of section teams off. Yeah, the games would be less, but by the time we get to November, December, it's like, okay, we get it.
Yes, everybody's
even
playing
if it was 6 weeks, I'd be okay with that, honestly. But,
yeah, I'd be fine. I'd be fine with it being 32 teams over about 6 weeks. So from week 5 to week 10, like 5, 6, like from week 5 to week 10, you get all of the teams out there. So you have a later or an earlier bye. So like you still have that, but like buys extending to week 14 is insane. What are we doing? Like, no one, because like the Patriots had such a late bye, and it was like, it's like, obviously it's an advantage or a disadvantage for some people, but like for most of the time it's an advantage, because they're like, okay, we played a season and now we just get a bye week. We get to rest up.
And the reason why it's ridiculous is because on top of everything we just said, okay, now you do have those 7 teams. So now there's not any longer 2 bye weeks for the postseason. You just got 2, so like, you got 2 teams, 1 in each conference, who get a bye. Everyone else is playing. If you're winning more, you're playing 18, 19, 20 weeks of football, 21 weeks of football. And, there's talks down the line of possibly 18 games. That'd be terrible.
No.
We would lose so many careers. So many careers would be cut short due to 18 games. And I would say this:
preseason matters to, like, I don't care to watch preseason. I really don't. Like, I understand, like, that might be, I just don't really care to watch it.
Yeah.
It matters though. I know from, obviously, in my very limited stint of playing like sports, obviously in high school and things like that, being able to work up into a season and stuff like that. Obviously, I know they have OTAs and like training camps and all that good stuff, but like preseason matters. Like, it matters. Like, and it makes the games less sloppy to start the season.
That's
like,
the thing.
That's
the thing. We've lost any sort of cohesion that you would get in week 1, unless you're a certain team, unless you're a contender, right?
Yeah.
Offensive contender in particular, you're often not crisp to begin the year. And I say that, Keenan, about the NFL because when they do have this bargaining agreement eventually, I don't know what year that'll be, and it'll be talked about an 18-game season. I hope they can get it back down to 16. And that would be possible because the NFL has experimented with 17 games in the past. This wasn't the first year they've done that. I think they went to it for 1 year in the 90s and brought it back down to 16. I'd love to see them go back to 16.
I agree too.
Quickly about the NBA. They, sometime in my childhood, the first round went from 5 games to 7 games, and I loved it. And it even made more sense by the time I got to my 20s when the league got deeper. And your 1 versus 8, or really your 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, you could actually get real matchups in those, which, to be honest, even still, 85 to 95% of the time, those are not matchups, specifically the 2-7, 1-8. Now, though, like, it does seem like it's a whole season of playoffs. Like, we've talked about cutting the season. Like, everyone knows where we stand on that if you're listening to this podcast. But if you're not going to cut the season, it does seem like the first round should be shorter. Because, man, you have a possibility of 28 games across 4 rounds. Like, that's insane. That's insane.
You can have a 110-game season. An 110-game season, a 2-month break, and then back to an 110-game season. And every 4 years, if you're that good, you get a 110-game season, you get a month break. And then you play in the Olympics, and then you get a month break, and then you're back to playing 110. Obviously, not every year you're going to get to the finals and have 7-game series every year. That's not what I'm saying. But like,
if you're telling me it's
100 games,
though, I'm in. Give me the 7-game series, but it's too long.
No, but I would have it to 60 or 72, 66 games, whatever the case may be. Cut it, make sure there's no back-to-backs, and then I would cut the first round of 5. And I understand that revenue-wise, you're cutting a lot of basketball games and a lot of things, but I just think the product on the court would be better. There's just no need for it. And I understand that, like, old people will be like, well, we played 82 back in the day, and we were like, people are running, jumping quicker and faster. It's just harder and more taxing on the body.
I think the older players of the past would want it this way, too, with the whole load management. I don't think there's anybody who wants the NBA season to be 82 games.
It's the same thing with baseball. Like, why are we playing 162?
That
like, what are we doing?
That's like an age-old question. I genuinely want to know.
Seems like why are we playing 162 games? That's like, why am I playing 8 games in 9 nights in maybe like 2 to 3 different cities? Like, why is that a thing?
They play in the spring, the summer, and the fall. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, it's spring training, and they're playing with snow on the ground at times. If it's early snow in November, like, what? They see 4 seasons. Why are they doing this? And I get it. Like, I loved watching it this year. I'm going to probably keep more tabs on it as we go on. We had talked about it on a different, like, what are we doing? Like, cut it to 120 and you'd be just fine.
I do got to cut this off because I actually haven't given my second gift yet or requested my second gift.
Yeah, no, you're
And
good.
it initially was going to be exactly what you said, Keaton. It was actually going to be health in the NBA because that has hampered us so much. But I don't want to belabor the point. I am going to keep it NBA, though. And this has been a much discussed topic on the Warner Brothas podcast, but I feel it's necessary. I've said I've given up on this particular weekend, but it's going to be the first weekend it's not on TNT. It will be on NBC, which is a more major network than TNT, which is to say they're going to want to put a nice product for NBA All-Star Weekend. Dunk contest, 3-point contest, like we've talked about the configuration of that. The All-Star game has long been a joke. They need to bring it back somehow. I'm very interested. They're doing USA versus the world. I'm very interested to see if the players will actually show up this year. If they don't, I promise you, Keenan, on everything, this will be the last year officially, like even taking part in this game. It was on in the background really the last 2 or 3 years. There were some signs of hope with the whole Elan ending here and there. There's been signs of hope. There's always been signs of life with the 3-point contest. That always delivers. Here and there with the dunk contest, but by and large, it's been bad this decade. NBC is going to want to put on a show. Will the players of the NBA actually show up to the challenge? Will they actually try to put on a show for the dunk contest? 3-point contest, again, we know it's going to be good. Will the dunk contest be good? Will they actually try in the All-Star game? I would love to see.
I would love to see it too. And I just want to say the Thunder are getting dog walked by the Spurs in the second half. They're up 18 with 3 minutes left.
Incredible.
Golly. Let's go San Antonio. Oh boy. Things are getting crazy. My third one, I'm going to keep it in the basketball realm, but I'm going to shift gears a little bit. My third gift, can we just pay the women what they deserve to be paid and get a WNBA season going and then get some more games, couple expansion teams in there, and we can just get this thing rocking? Because Unrivaled's about to be coming up here soon. And I'm going to watch Unrivaled. And I'm going to be watching a bunch of different, I've been seeing a bunch of different clips and things like that on Instagram. They're doing a good job of marketing it, like all players and everything. Like the thing that I love about the NBA season so far, there's been a lot of people who have obviously been caring and like things like who've played well. Obviously, you had some load management always here and there, but it hasn't been as bad this year, to me at least, as it has been in a lot of years past.
Seems better.
But it seems better so far. The cup was serious and people actually cared about that. But like, obviously, because of the spot that women are in, the women care 100%. Like, they want to play basketball because they don't get a chance to do it much, and they're like, it's not like in the NBA where I'm getting 20 mil. It's like, oh, I'm getting 200K. Like, that's not a crazy salary. Like, Paige is getting, I mean, obviously Paige is making millions off the court. Caitlin, Angel, all of them are making millions off the court. But it's like, yeah, I'm making 80K to play some basketball. It's like, I can do that as a retail manager. like, I can do that as a retail manager. And I got thousands of people showing up to these games and spending the turnstiles to come watch me play. But I'm literally getting my jersey sold in these retail shops where these managers are making more than I am. So that's really cool. But I want them to be just paid what they're worth. I understand, like, it's okay if they have $1 million contract. Like, that's an okay number. Like, that's fine. Like, they deserve it. They've gotten to the point where they're that profitable. Do I think obviously they should be getting like NBA numbers? Of course not. They're not NBA profitable, but they are hundreds of thousands dollars, $1 million profitable. That's just what they are. Get them paid. I want to watch them on the court. I want to see them in a full season. Get Caitlin back. Hopefully she can stay healthy this season so I could see her, because I very much enjoyed watching.
What do you mean by full
season?
season? What do you mean by full season?
I just don't I don't want them to continue to go on. I don't know, because they have such a long layover that I don't know if I could ever go into like a lockout, but like the CBA agreements have gone here and then here and then here. I just don't know how long it's going to last for. Cause like obviously with an NBA one, it's just cause the offseason is so short. The CBA, like that can just get pushed back and back. If it does for the WNBA, I just don't want it to be like they start in June or July. Like where they have like half a season and like
are they discussing the CBA
or...
currently?
Yes, so like they discussed it at the end of October. Like October 31st was the initial date, and then they pushed it back like 30 days, and then they've continued to push it back here, and like I think they've made more waves. I don't know exactly what the latest is on where they're at, or if there's like an estimated date of when they're going to be fine, but like they continue to push it back. It's not like an official like, hey, we've locked it in, but we've got, I say we like I'm part of the league, but expansion drafts. They have 2 expansion drafts that they need to have, obviously, for the Portland team and the Toronto team. So you got to obviously have your expansion drafts there, and then they've already got the draft lottery done. The Dallas Wings have the number 1 overall pick. So I just want to see, pay the women what they deserve to be paid, and then just go on from there, because this season should be a fun season. And I've got a lot of talent there. Get these people paid, get the free agency going, because there's going to be the most wild free agency period of any sport you'll probably ever have, because everybody was on a 1-year contract. So like, it would be as if this year you had Jokic, Shea, Luka, Towns, and like a bunch of other people like free agents, like fully free agents. And there's like, where are they
2010 free agency?
It was like 2000, like yeah, kind of like the 2010 free agency. It's like just a wild one. We're like, where is everyone going? Because everyone signed 1-year deals knowing that the CBA was coming. Why lock yourself into a contract when you clearly could not and then get more? So I'm just really excited for it. And that's my third gift is, let's get women's basketball going, because I'm going to watch Unrivaled and be like, man, okay, I'm ready.
The WNBA, and we've said this, it's in the healthiest spot it's ever been, of course. But it really feels like, they have a moment between Caitlin, between Paige Beckers, between Angel Reese. between the stars they already had before, those three players in particular, like Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart. They are definitely having a moment. They definitely have the pulse of not only young women across America or young girls who are looking up to them, but they have the pulse of just basketball fans.
Yes.
They are talked about in ways they were not talked about 10 years ago in basketball circles, on social media. So the WNBA definitely has something going. Of course, they're a part of this TV contract with the NBA, so they'll be on NBC as well. And we've already seen what that production looks like. They were already on Amazon Prime in the past. They will probably have even more promotion, I'm assuming. So yeah, much like you, Keenan, I'm extremely interested in seeing how this CBA is going, because I didn't know that this year was the potential for a lockout. And if they don't hear what they want to hear, which is, at the least lucrative contracts, whatever that may be for them, lucrative contracts. If they don't get that, they're going to hold out and lock out as they should. So I'm very
extended
interested.
Through, I just want to say it's been extended through the 9th of January as of, I want to say today.
Okay. And then Unrivaled starts what? Around the time,
couple weeks, beginning of January is when Unrivaled starts.
Okay.
So
I was thinking closer to the end of the NFL playoffs, but it's right around the corner.
Yes, Unrivaled starts very soon, and you've got other than Caitlyn in Asia and Sabrina Ionescu, I want to say every other like big name is in it. So it's great to see. Obviously, Caitlyn and Asia haven't done it either year. I think Sabrina did it last year, not this year. But like, fair to them, they have to do whatever they want to do there. And they're getting paid in comparison to this thing. They're getting much more money in comparison to the WNBA contracts that they're getting. So it's just like, it's going to be fun to watch 3-on-3 basketball. Obviously, Dominic Malonga too is a lady who can dunk with ease. Like, Paige has been throwing her lobs in like practice. Like, she's going to catch a body at one point in Unrivaled. Like, she's going to catch a body. And that's the thing about the more and more that the women are training at 6 years old rather than at like 17, like maybe I could do something with this. You're going to get not people that are going to be doing windmills or anything crazy, but like people who can definitely punch. Like, you're going to get a poster like Malonga's going to put someone on a poster here very soon. She's going to during Unrivaled. Like, I'm calling it now. Like, someone's getting caught on a lob and like going to turn around and Malonga's going to punch on him on a poster. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah. Hey.
But yeah.
On the come up. And definitely cannot wait to see how this CBA turns out.
Same. I am same here. It's your last gift.
My last gift. This is for my UFC fans. We need resolution in the lightweight division. Keenan, you're probably not familiar, but Islam Makhachev was in the lightweight division. He just won the welterweight championship. He just moved up one division. And Islam, Keenan, he would be like, let's say Jokic. If we're doing it individually, he's like as sure of a thing as Jokic, right? Okay. He's a dominant wrestler, whereas Jokic obviously is like well-rounded, and Islam is well-rounded too. But like his bread and butter is wrestling, okay? But he is number one pound for pound. He's just a sure thing, right? Featherweight champion at the time was Ilia Topuria. We thought there was going to be a chance that he would move up to lightweight and fight Islam. Instead, Islam moved up to welterweight, like I just said. Ilia moved up to lightweight, won the belt immediately, knocked out Charles Oliveira. And I would say Ilia, Keenan, is just as much of a sure thing as Jokic, as Makhachev, Islam Makhachev. If Islam's Jokic, Keenan, Topuria might be, as far as inevitability, he might be Wemby. As far as inevitability, he's a knockout artist. Like, there's a bunch of UFC guys who want to go box. Obviously, we saw with McGregor. This guy might actually have a career in boxing. Like, his hands are that nice, right?
Yeah.
And he can wrestle, and he's just a great athlete. Like, he's inevitable. So eventually, we thought after this year, maybe sometime in 26, that we'll eventually, maybe at welterweight, maybe at lightweight, that we will get Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria.
Yeah.
Instead, Keenan, We talk about CBA. We talk about what do you call it? TV deals. UFC's moving to Paramount. Their deal with ESPN just ended. In January, they'll be moving to Paramount.
Yes, I did see that.
Everyone thought that, all right, lightweight title, it's probably going to be Ilya to start it off because he's, if not the biggest star, he's like top 3 biggest star in the UFC. And for sure, like top 2 exciting, him and Alex Pereira as top 2 most exciting fighters in the UFC right now. Instead, we get a couple weeks ago, Keenan, that he is not fighting for the belt. There's going to be an interim belt between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is a vet, exciting vet, by the way. Like he's a knockout artist himself. Always puts on his nickname's literally the highlight. And Paddy Pimblett is a rising star, emerging star, but probably way less deserving than some other fighters in the lightweight division. He's basically his claim to fame, Keen, is that he's like probably the biggest British star. And that's why he's getting this belt. All right. There is a 4th name in this lightweight conversation called Arman Tsarukyan, who would be, again, if we're comparing it to NBA, maybe he's like SGA. He is he's like, all right, if we want someone to go against Jokic, we want SGA. Like this guy's a sure thing. Was supposed to face Islam in January of last year for the lightweight title. Got injured, had to pull out, has been on UFC's shit list ever since. Now, I say all that to say, you've got 2 fighters fighting for the interim belt as Ilya pulls out for legal reasons. Ilya's the star. Ilya's a superstar. These next 2 guys, stars. It's going to be an exciting fight, but why isn't the guy, Arman Tsarukyan, I know I'm throwing a lot of names here, but why isn't the guy who's most deserving, why isn't he at least in the fight? That's what UFC fans are wondering. Instead, we're going to get this fight against 2 fighters who don't deserve the lightweight title. One of them's going to get it. And then what happens after that? We don't know, because it seems like Ilya Topuria could sit out for possibly the whole year. So what the fuck happens, not only with the lightweight division, but with Islam? Islam's not going to fight Ilya now, if that's the case. Will Ilya ever even come back to the UFC? People are even saying that. I don't believe that to be the case, but that's the last gift I want. I want real resolution, and I'm sure we'll have it by the time we get to 2027. I want real resolution for the lightweight division in the UFC. And if I have to extend one to boxing, if I have to give a 4th gift, give me more super fights that are not involving friggin' Jake Paul. Terrence Crawford,
Anthony Joshua.
Terrence Crawford just retired. You can never really be sure if retirements are real in boxing, so I don't think he's actually like fully retired. I think he'll eventually come back, but who knows? But please give more attention to the fight, like the Canelo Crawford fight we got a few months ago. Please give me more of that. If Tank Davis comes back and fight, give me a super fight with Tank Davis. Like just give us more fights, give us more matchups, and more focus on that, because I'm truly embarrassed for the sport of boxing every time we give this focus to Jake Paul. And that's not to take anything away from Jake Paul, because the fact that you can even pull this off says something about your business acumen.
100%.
But this would be like an internet YouTuber who like can dunk, coming to the NBA and being like, I want to face off in 1-on-1 against LeBron James, or I want to face 1-on-1 against SGA or Steph, and them taking that challenge and then like outviewing a lot of important games. Like it sucks. You get why it sells, and you get why it makes the money it does, but it's also like it cheapens the sport to some degree. And
it loses validity at the point, and you just don't love that. So no, I agree with you 100%. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to?
I think we can wrap it up. This went a little a little longer than I was expecting, to be honest with you. Like I said, I have Steelers thoughts, I have 49ers thoughts, but I think I'll save them in case we meet at the end of the week.
Yeah.
If not, though, Keen, Merry Christmas. Even though I'll be talking to you on Christmas Day.
Yeah, of course.
But Merry Christmas to our viewers, to our listeners.
Yes.
Thank you for the support. We got some year-end stuff around the corner. Be on the lookout for that. Merry Christmas, safe holidays, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of that, Spotify, Apple Music. And again, stream on YouTube. We'll be back. Merry Christmas once again. Happy holidays to all.